All right, welcome back to the next episode of Being Behind the Scenes with a Working Musician. Let's see, I got up at 7 o'clock this morning. You're probably thinking, holy crap, that's really early for a musician. But yes, I'm up at 7 o'clock. I'm already on the road. I've got 2 performances today. I'm playing for 2 weddings, back-to-back weddings. I've got one wedding at 10:30 this morning out in the Fraser Valley, and then I have another one out at the Peace Arch Park. So for those of you that have never heard of Peace Arch Park, it is a park that's literally right at the border between Canada and the United States, and we'll be playing a wedding outside there at the park. That one's going to be at 3 o'clock. So I'll get set up for my wedding, which will begin at 11 o'clock, the first one, and that's going to go till 12 o'clock. I'll start playing at 10 o'clock, or 10:30, and then at 12 o'clock I'll quickly pack up. I'll be on the road and head towards the border. Should be there at about 1:30 to start playing at 2:45 for the next wedding, which starts at 3 o'clock, and the whole thing will wrap up at 6 o'clock, and that'll be my day. So we'll see you at the first venue. So what you see now is just a real quick drive through the valley from my place getting to the venue. All right, so here we are at the first venue for the first wedding. So this is out in the Fraser Valley, pretty close to my place. This is only about a 15-minute drive. So pulling up to the driveway, you can see the home. Where the ceremony is going to take place is just to the left as we get around the bend here. And we can see right there where the wedding's going to take place. Should be just perfect. Really nice. So at this point, there's really nobody here other than the lady that you see at the far table. So I had to ask where I was to set up. They weren't really too sure. So most weddings, usually I'm off to one side of where the wedding party will be. So I am going to quickly unload my stuff. Very quickly unload my stuff. For this gig, I'm using just 2 speakers, those 2 Yamahas that you see there, and a Fender power amp that will power everything. I've got a small mixing board. There's the power amp. You can get a little bit of a view of the property before everyone got there. And now I'm just making my way to where I believe the location is going to be. So here I am with all my speakers and everything, not quite in place, but we'll get it all set up. This is a little bridge that you cross over, and I believe this is where the bride and groom is going to sign the register. So just quickly setting things up in the location here. Then what happened is I basically got my speakers in place and my amp set up. And then someone had come over that I guess was there during the rehearsal last night and gave me a different location to set up in. And this isn't too uncommon, unfortunately. I'm always at the venue earlier than I guess most people get, so I've got lots of time to set up. So I did have to move. So here's my new location over here, but I didn't have a lot set up. I just basically unpacked the speakers and the amp. So here's the new location. It's a good spot. It's under a shady tree, so I'm not going to totally bake during the ceremony. And here's the ceremony. I have already played for a half an hour before the event. And now we're going to speed things up a little bit so you can get an idea of what the ceremony was like. And here's a little bit of me playing for the event. So that was it for this event. It lasted until 12:15, and I quickly packed up my stuff. Fortunately for me, a friend of mine was there at the wedding and was helping me move everything to my truck, which sped everything up considerably. Usually it's about a half an hour to tear all my stuff, load it in the truck, and get on the road, but this time I did it in about 15 minutes, which was great. So I wound up being on the road at 12:30, which is good because I wanted to arrive at the next venue for 1:30 to get set up for the second wedding. So once again, very quickly, it's amazing I can move that fast, very quickly packing everything up into the truck. Again, had my guitar, had a music stand this time because of different pieces that I had to play for the weddings. Most of my cables and everything go in that bin that my speakers are kept. Okay, so there's wedding number 1 done, and I'm off to wedding number 2 at Peace Arch Park. And how are we doing for time? 12:25. It's nice to have a bit of help tearing the gear down. Oops, that always helps a lot. Get some fresh air. Perfect day for a wedding. Not too hot. The sun is sort of out just behind the clouds, which is good. So, I'll see you at Peace Arch Park. Alright, here we are at the next venue. I'm playing at Peace Arch Park, and it was actually easier to get to than I thought. And look at that, they've got a sign in black and yellow there. Carmen and Keenan. That's the wedding I'm playing at. So here we go. I kind of looked at a Google map to find this place. And it was kind of hard to tell exactly where to go, but we'll see. I see white chairs ahead. That must be where the wedding is taking place. Looks good. So here we go, round 2. Once again, tearing all the gear out. This time I'll take my cart to haul everything. And again, it's going to be the 2 Yamaha speakers, same power amp. I have an extra monitor, which is in the truck if I think that I need it. But I left it in the truck and just took the same amount of gear that I used for the last wedding. And bungee everything down because I've got a little bit of a walk to take to get to the venue where I'm going to play. And here we go. It's a really bumpy walk. Yeah, because the camera's in fast motion, it's not the smoothest walk you ever had. These are all the people on my left. Those cars are all heading towards the border. Just a few yards in front of me would be the border crossing where people are going into the United States. So here we are just bumping our way to the hall. So this hall is where the reception's going to be after I play the wedding. Now, they were supposed to have an extension cord out there for me to plug into, but unfortunately it wasn't. I managed to find it, so I had to run probably a couple hundred feet of extension to where I was going to play. It's a good thing I can walk so fast because I was able to set this up really quick. And it's kind of like a Benny Hill movie. Anyway, so there's the extension in place. I'll come back, grab my cart, and reel all of that over to where we're going to be playing. So I tell you, playing guitar, being a freelance musician, playing guitar for weddings and stuff, it's not just about showing up with your guitar. There's always something to do. Okay, so here we are setting it up. Again, the first lady I talked to wasn't too sure where I would be setting up, so I'm just, again, assuming this would be the right location. 9 times out of 10, I'm right, but I don't know what the deal was today. So I'm going to get this all set up, ready to go on the left side of the bride and groom, if you're facing the bride and groom from where the audience is. So that's what's going on right now. Again, 2 speakers. Those are the Yamaha speakers. I'll put one right there, and the other one's going to go at the other side. But once I had everything set up, you'll see that someone comes along and says, "Hey, here we go."
I don't know how typically close you usually are. They're going to be getting married right here.
Okay.
So,
Do you want me over a
I'm
little
moving
way?
over just a little bit more because they're going to be here, and the wedding party is going to be here.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're going to have a little signing here.
Sure. Where do you want me on the other side? Not enough cable.
Table go? That's how you do it. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Thanks.
So moving things around really isn't a big deal. You kind of expect that these kind of things will happen, and that's why I get to every venue very early, so I have lots of time to do this sort of thing. So I'm not in a big panic to get set up and play, because you never know if you're going to have to run a couple hundred or another 100 feet of extension, or have to move locations. Once I'm set up and ready to play here, and hid my cases and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to have to tear down my stuff once again for the third time today, and I'll move to where that little brown house is that you see off in the distance, and that's right there, and that's where the reception's going to be. So here's the wedding. Again, just a beautiful day, so it was really, really nice for both weddings. You just never know. This was very cool. This guy was Skyping someone from Spain, so they were watching the wedding live in Spain.
Above all, Lord, give them love. We pray that you would prosper them financially, spiritually.
If you listen carefully, you're going to hear the ice cream truck. Part of just being in a public park is all these other unexpected things, like trains going by and ice cream trucks happening. I've had helicopters landing beside me at wedding events, you know, if it was like up on Grouse Mountain. Now here I am, I've quickly thrown everything onto my cart, taken it back to where the reception's going to be, and I've reset everything up again. So this is the third setup today. And there it gives you an idea of the people that I'm playing for now for the reception, while photos and so on are taken. And there's my setup. I finally have a break, which is my first since this morning. It smelled great where I was. There was a barbecue, I don't know if you noticed, right behind me, a big barbecue pit where they were cooking dinner. And there's my guitar tuner. And this event went from 2:45. The wedding started at 3. I started playing at 2:45. Played for the wedding and the ceremony, all the different components of the wedding for this particular wedding, and packed up here. This event went till 6 o'clock, so now it's just after 6 o'clock, and I'm packing up all my stuff so I can get back home to finish up the day. So again, the last teardown number 3. I'm not going to worry about the extension that they provided for me. Someone else will look after that for me. And away we go. So right now in the hall, you can hear people getting to their tables for the dinner, and I'm not going to bother them and show you any of that. So, camera back in quick motion, heading back to the truck. It was a bit of a walk, so I sped this up a little bit. Sped it up a lot. Here we go, heading back to my vehicle to make my way home. Line up to the border wasn't as busy as it was earlier. And here we are, just throwing everything back in the truck. So again, I bring my own chair just in case there isn't anything there, or there isn't anything that's comfortable for me to use. And throw everything back in the truck. And get it all in there ready for tomorrow.
All right, so there you have it. 2 weddings in one day. I'm tired. Time to go home. Thanks for joining me on the gigs.